So you're probably wondering why you should care about this pulse rifle. Well, the Pit of Heresy dungeon released this week, and that's where this pulse rifle comes from. In case you didn't know, you need it to complete your Lunar Rover badge, which in turn completes your seal for Harbinger right there, which, it gets you the title. So, if you care about the title, you need this gun. To get this gun, there's some bad news and some good news. The bad news is its drop rate is abysmal. The drop rate is probably like 1000 Voices Anarchy level, 5 to 10%. The good news is, it's an encounter-specific drop, meaning it's only coming from this encounter right here, the Chamber of Suffering. So basically, you only need to do this one encounter. You don't need to do the full dungeon. Once you get to this part, save the checkpoint and run it back over and over and over again. Now, like I mentioned, it has a low drop rate. We can fix that. There's some good news. You need this item right here, Hymm of Desecration. In case you didn't know, you get it from Eris. You go to Eris. She has a weekly bounty where she gives you this item. The bounty says go do nightmares, or waves rather, in the Altar of Sorrows. I believe it's 8 waves total, don't quote me on that. Once you complete that, hand in the bounty, you will get the item. What the item does is, as you can see, it greatly increases your chance of a weapon drop from either the Necropolis or the Chamber of Suffering. Don't bother with Necropolis, that does not drop the pulse, or if it does, it's already an extremely low chance on top of a billion different guns. As far as I know, the first encounter will drop you all the moon-specific guns. That's a huge loot table, you don't want to bother with that. This encounter specifically can only drop you the pulse rifle and no other gun. It can drop you the pulse rifle, a blue, which is obviously useless to you, or a Dreambane armor set. Now obviously you don't want the armor, you want the gun, and this buff helps you with that because it says greatly increases chance for a weapon, not weapon or armor. Now the other thing to note about this is, you can see at the bottom, it says effects last until the dungeon encounter is completed. That's actually either not true and bugged, or what it means to say is, once the dungeon entirely is completed, the buff goes away. So what this means is, you can save the checkpoint here, go on another character, pop your buff, complete the encounter, the buff will still be there until you get the gun to drop. So what you do is you beat the encounter, you open the chest, you either get the gun or you don't. If you don't, you go back on your first character, load the CP, switch back, beat the encounter again, rinse and repeat until you get the gun. The buff will not go away. As far as I know, the buff increases the chance, I would say at least 25%, because everyone I've told to use this and has used it has gotten the gun in about, let's say, 5 runs on average. People who have not used this item have told me they've gone 30-40 runs until they got the pulse rifle. That's a big difference to farm this gun. So hopefully you haven't used all yours this week. If you have a character that you haven't ran Eris on, go get the bounty, complete it, get this item, and if you care about Harbinger, then you're definitely going to want to do this. Now if you're wondering what you can do to make your farms faster, obviously having 3 people helps for farming, but if you don't have 3 people and you only have 1 buddy you're doing it with, one of the things you're going to want to do is use Crimson, because it's just a healing machine. It's good for this encounter specifically, especially if you're soloing, but obviously if you're farming, you're not going to be soloing. Still, it's very helpful, so I would suggest running that gun, for sure. Now, as far as classes go, for Hunter, I would definitely recommend using Arc Battery with an Arc subclass. On top of that, use a 1-2 punch Shoddy, and then Liar's Handshake, and just dodge 800 billion times and heal constantly. The main part of this whole encounter is just heal, 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 because you have to stand on the totem without it killing you, and obviously you're getting shot by 800 different ads. Let's go to Warlock and Titan real quick, just so I can show some recommendations. Now for Titans, you're going to want to use, obviously, Ward of Dawn. There's really not even a debate about it. That can protect you. Obviously, One-Eyed Mask is another option. Yes, even in PvE, this thing haunts people. And there is one more thing you can use instead of One-Eyed, and that would be Doomfangs. Basically, you just punch everything to death, and it heals you. These are all the options you can use. I would definitely recommend them all. And let's move on to Warlock. Now, Warlock has basically 2 class options. You have the obvious Well of Radiance. I don't think I need an explanation for that. And then you have the Devour build. If you don't know, Devour basically regenerates you non-stop. You can I would say eat your nade is the right term. You can eat your nade, and then what Devour does is every single time you get a kill within its time limit, which is 10 seconds, you get your health back instantly. So any gun kill, any ability kill, any melee kill, whatever, you heal non-stop as long as you keep the buff up. If you don't get a kill in the 10 seconds, then your buff obviously goes away and you have to replenish it. So I would say probably for a team thing, you would go with Well of Radiance because it protects everybody. If you're doing it with less people or solo for some reason, like if you're trying to get solo flawless, then you can run Devour with Healing Rift, obviously. And that's it as far as recommendations go. Hopefully this information helps you guys, and if you found out something you didn't know, or if this video just helped you to get the pulse, well, then a like and a sub would be appreciated, and I'll catch you guys next time.